Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. This is our last lesson today, inshallah, on the lesson of Hajj, and also we shall conclude the book. There are one or two chapters in the book related to the chapter of Hajj that we will not go through. The subject of udhiyah, hunting, they will be covered in other courses, inshallah. And there are some details to them that we don't need to go into in a course of this level. So, inshallah, if Allah gives us tawfiq to study further, we will learn about those things, inshallah. So now the final chapter, which is the chapter on expiations. So expiations can be put into four categories. So you have, once you make a mistake in the haram, you have to sacrifice or you have to fast, depending on what you've done, or you have to pay. Just like you would do sadaqat al-fitr, you would pay 2.2 kg of wheat, or depending on what you pay, it goes up, right? So there's the sacrifice of a camel, there's the sacrifice of sheep, there's specific charity, and then there's general charity. So these are the four categories that any expiation you do while you're doing the rites of Hajj and you made a mistake, they fall under these. Now we're only going to have a brief look at them here. Violations of pilgrim's sanctity and ceremonial rites. The sacrifice of a sheep is mandatory wajib as expiation for any one of the following violations by the pilgrim. So our author says the sacrifice of a sheep is mandatory here, it's wajib here. To apply scent to an entire limb, to apply oil to an entire limb, for a man to wear stitched garments for at least one entire day or entire night, for a man to cover a fourth or more of one's head or beard, to shave one or both armpits, to shave one's pubic region, to clip all of one's nails, i.e. of both hands and both feet in one sitting, or all 5 of the nails of 1 foot of one hand, to omit the sa'i, which is wajib to complete, to omit all of the stoning or that of 1 day, which is also wajib, to delay the act of shaving or trimming past its appropriate time, to delay the tawaf or visitation, the second pillar of Hajj, past its appropriate time, to delay the standing at Arafah past the day and rather perform it that night, i.e. it is still valid until the Fajr of the 10th, yet the mandatory wajib requisite of performing it between Dhuhr and Maghrib was omitted. So in any of these instances, our author says it's wajib to sacrifice a sheep. So if the pilgrim applies scent, wears a stitched garment, or shaves or trims his hair with a valid excuse, he may choose between sacrificing a sheep, donating 3 sa', which is 13.2 kg of wheat or its equivalent monetary value to 6 poor persons, or fasting for 3 days. Any one of the following violations by the pilgrim require donation, sadaqah of half a sa', 2.2 kg of wheat or its equivalent monetary value. It's basically similar to sadaqat al-fitr. It's the same concept. So 2.2 kg of wheat or its monetary value. To apply scent on less than an entire limb, for a man to cover one's head for less than an entire day or night, for a man to wear a stitched garment for less than an entire day or night, to shave less than a fourth of one's head or beard, to shave someone else's head or trim his hair or cut his nails, to perform either the tawaf of arrival or the tawaf of farewell in a state of minor ritual impurity. So as you can see, there are a lot of things to go through. The first table and the second table, there are a lot of things to go through and to discuss. There are fine points involved in them as well, but suffice at this point is to know what we've read here. For any round missed of the tawaf, farewell tawaf, up to 3 rounds, whereas one sacrifices a sheep for missing 4 or more rounds. For each nail clipped from 5 separate nails, i.e. that are not on one limb, for each pebble omitted if less than an entire day's stoning, yet with regard to this issue and the one before it, unless the amount due reaches the equivalent value of sacrificing a sheep, whereby he may slightly decrease the amount due by as he likes, and Allah knows best. So with this, I mean, what's textbook is textbook, but if you find yourself in this situation, it's always best to ask a mufti on hand there and then, who'll be able to guide you better, because some things may not will be understood by yourself in terms of what you've just read or in terms of what you've done. You may think you've done a violation, but in actual fact it may all be valid, or it may there may be an excuse for you, right? So in any of these situations, it's always best to ask a mufti, but the general guidelines being given here. So that concludes the end of the reading of this book. May Allah accept our worship, may Allah accept our efforts, may Allah give us the ability to memorize what's in this book, to know it like the back of our hand, to be in the ability to help others when needs arise, to be able to teach others also. May Allah bless the author Imam Sharan Bululi, may Allah bless the translator who translated this book, and may Allah give us the ability to practice everything that's in this book to the best of our ability. It's a lot to learn, and it's something that is necessary for us to learn. It's something that we must know, and the ulama recommend that every 6 months you should go through this again, right? So every 6 months you should have a new reading of this. So you can either you could read from the chapters of the book, or just watch these videos every day for the duration of however many videos there are, and every 6 months you'll refresh yourself, because some of these things only occur to us once every few years. And certainly some of them, like zakat and Ramadan, once a year. So people tend to forget. So it's always good to refresh. So when Ramadan comes, or when the time to give zakat comes, we're ready, and we don't need to ask anybody or to get confused. Jazallahu anna Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam ma huwa ahlu. Jazallahu anna Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ma huwa ahlu. Jazallahu anna Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ma huwa ahlu. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.